Heya and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. Today I will show you my Paladin Tanking Build for Tower of the Mad Mage. So to start things off, your race. What should you choose? First up would be the Metallic Dragonborn, since it will give you +2 to any stat, and also +3% more HP, and also an additional 3% incoming healing. However, the Metallic Dragonborn is one of the most expensive and hardest to get. So then I would go on to the General Dragonborn. It will give you an extra 5% incoming healing, also your bonus to your strength, and also an additional 3% damage for your aggro. However, if you don't want to play Uglyborn, then I just went with Human. However, you could go with a Dwarf, since it gives you a nice bonus to strength and also Constitution. However, it doesn't really matter. The ability scores give you hardly any benefits. The main one I would go for is Strength, because of that stamina regen. And then for your secondary ability score, I would take Charisma. Companion Influence will give you more HP than percentage to hit points. Okay, so moving on to our powers and feats. First up, our feats. You will want to choose up, 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 and then down and down. Sacred Shield, if you run with Sacred Weapon, gives you a nice bonus to threat and some stamina regen. Generally don't run with it. The second feat is rather useless. You don't really want to spend your divinity on healing people. That's the healer's job. Then on your second pair, both of them don't matter within the trial whatsoever. Justicar's Bulwark, I would say, is better than your Divine Pursuit. And then for the fourth pair, I would take the bottom one, Sheltering Light. However, the uppermost one, it can be handy, but it won't block most of the AoEs. And it won't block Halaster's Annihilate, the big massive ball he summons up and smashes you with. So Sheltering Light is very helpful when you want to protect DPS, let's say from Heat Wave. Also, it's very beneficial when you get the nasty combination of Cloud to Ground, which is where you spread apart, and also Heat Wave. When you get both of those and you have Sheltering Light cast on everybody, you generally will have enough incoming healing via your insignia bonuses that you will be able to keep everybody healed up just via healing yourself. And if you use a stone while everybody's affected by this, you will heal everybody for the same amount of HP you gain via your Stone of Health. Okay, so for the last set of feats, definitely take the bottom one, Unyielding Champion. It basically reduces the amount of divinity it uses over time and will block up to 75% of your maximum HP. Normally your shield will only block 50% of your maximum HP. So this ups it by 25%, which is very nice. And what Unyielding Champion is referring to is your Divine Palisade here. After you proc your tab power, hit that once, you gain like shields around you, and then if you hold up your shield, you will block up to 75% of your maximum HP. And you will also reduce the damage that allies and yourself takes by 10% for those people who are behind the shield. You'll see it creates kind of a cone like this. See, that's the tab power, and then this is it with the shield. Okay, so on to the general powers that you use. For your at-will powers, I recommend running with your Shielding Strike, give you that extra nice stamina regen, and Radiant Slam for when you need to get up to the boss. Let's say you've backed away from the group to take the Annihilate, and then you want to get to him as quickly as possible so he doesn't move to you, and therefore the DPS don't have to move. Use this and you get right up in the boss's face nice and quick. Alright, so then for your encounter powers, the main one you want to be running is Smite. This will be your hard taunt aggro power. You want to run Smite in combination with this class feature, Divine Challenger, which basically place you on top of the threat list. It's a hard taunt. It costs 220 divinity. We have a total of 1,000, so you'll be able to spam this quite often. However, I recommend only using it when you need to, as our divinity generation isn't the best. Okay, so then for our secondary encounter power, definitely run with Blinding Oath. It's got one of the best stamina regen powers that we have. You do have Sacred Weapon, which increases your stamina, but it's negligible. You'll barely notice it. This one also has a greater duration. Cooldown's also only 22 seconds, whereas Sacred Weapon is 28 seconds. Now, for our third encounter power, generally I would run with Absolution. It's great for when you're just about to take that Annihilate, and you can reduce the damage you take by 20%. And then for our dailies, I would generally run with Shield of Faith as our main. Secondary, you can either run Heroism, basically increase your maximum HP by 20% for 12 seconds. Good for when you're in a bit of a pickle. However, I hate the cast time. The cast time is just too long for me to make it relevant, so I generally run with Divine Judgment for extra aggro, just to deal more damage to that boss. So now for the main class features, definitely run with Composure, more Divinity. The rest of them are kind of meh, and Divine Challenger for making Smite a hard taunt. So now for our optional powers, I recommend running at the beginning of the trial. Just for the first few minutes, I would swap out Oath Strike for Shielding Strike. The reason for this, it has increased threat. And then for our encounter powers, I would swap out Vow of Enmity for Absolution at the beginning for the first few minutes. The reason for this is you might need an extra hard taunt here or there, especially when you're running with really good DPS. Okay, so moving on to companions. Now, first up, absolutely want to run an augment companion. It doesn't necessarily matter what augment companion you run. The extra enhancement is beneficial when you want to cap your stats. As a tank, we ideally want to cap all of our offense stats and defense stats, prioritizing of course our defense stats since we are getting hit. But if we can't hold the aggro, our defense stats are useless. So you would use an augment companion and its enhancement to give you the extra stats that you would need. For me, I mainly need is accuracy. I'm still 10k low on accuracy, which is not good. I am basically losing 5% more damage. And then for armor pen to also help me cap that. However, recommended would be to run one with a bonus power enhancement. For example, your Boulette Pop, extra power, or your Star of Simral. You're going to have to juggle around with your stats to try optimize them the best you can with what you have. So now for your equipment, of course you want your 3 rank 15 bondings. Currently, what I have is what I need to cap my stats. You can see I have 2 pieces of blue equipment here. Ideally they would be purple, but I have not managed to gain them myself. So I'm stuck with these ones. And they manage to cap all my stats apart, well, all my offense and defense stats apart from accuracy. And then of course you don't need awareness and you don't need combat advantage. However, combat advantage can be useful if you want more aggro, but I recommend sticking with your 6 main stats. So as you can see, what I have here is I have the Ivy Grown Sword Knot of the Companion. I'm sure there's a purple version of that somewhere with an extra runestone slot. I currently have this empty as I don't need any more defense stats. Then I have the Roped Talisman of the Companion, giving me that armor pen and accuracy. And then I have my Imperial Moonstone of the Ring of the Companion, which gives me that critical strike and that extra deflect to cap everything. But I'm still short, as I said, with accuracy. So now for our passive companions, in our enhancement slot I would run Redemption. However, you could run with Armor Break to help the DPS out a bit. Then, of course, you want all HP. So, in our offense slot, you can get the Rimfire Golem, you could get the Crystal Golem, or you could have the Star of Simral, depending on the stats you needed. Currently, I have the Rimfire Golem. However, I could do with the Crystal Golem instead of that, but if you look it up in the auction house, it's like 700,000 AD, and I can't really be bothered to purchase that instead of the one I have, and then to upgrade it to boot. So yeah, our offense slot giving 16,000 maximum HP, then our 3 defense slots also giving 16,000 HP. First up I have the Moonshade Druid, then I have the Iron Golem, and then I have the Bard. And then finally in the utility slots you have the Energon. So all the companions are here. So first up we have the Bard in our fighters section. Then I have my Rimfire Golem here in the creatures section, and also my Iron Golem in the invokers section. I have my Moonshade Druid, and then finally the Energon here in Mystical. Alright, so that's it for companions. So now for our mounts. For our actual mount power, not too important. For our equip power, I would definitely take Stalwart. I currently have the War Triceratops, which gives the extra 50,000 HP. However, that is a legendary mount. You could take, alternatively, a mount which gives you 25k extra. So now for our insignias, I recommend Prosperity and Fortitude. So now for our insignia bonuses, I would take 3 Gladiator's Guile. They do stack up to 3. The first one giving you 10% extra speed, the second one giving you 5% extra speed, and the third one giving you 2.5 extra speed. You mainly want these for the speed, but the extra stamina gain is definitely nice. So now for our last 2, I would take Survivor's Blessing, since we do deflect a lot, 50% of the time, every time we're hit, and it gives you that nice little heal over the time when, let's say, the healer hasn't managed to heal you yet. And then our nice heal over time whenever you crit. So now moving on to boons. First up, I definitely recommend putting as much as you can in all the HP, giving you an additional 20,000 HP. Along the way, I would put the rest in power, or let's say in the offense stats, or maybe the defense stats that you are missing. And along the way, definitely take the Marathon Runner, giving that extra 12.5% speed bonus, and also your companion influence for that teeny bit of extra HP. Then I would go on our tier 5 boons. I would take incoming healing for extra 4%, and I would take the stamina regen for the extra 4%. And then for your master boon, it doesn't really matter. You could use focused retaliation, however it does next to no damage anymore. Used to be nice. So I've gone with enhanced application. When your HP is very low, you can gain a small heal over time, and reducing the damage of your next hit by 10%. However, you're generally never below 30%, and if you are, you're generally dead. So now for our guild stronghold boons, I would take the extra power for the extra damage. Then I would take, of course, your extra 32k HP, and then for your utility you want your revive sickness boon. So every time you die, you reduce the effect, the decrease in HP for every stack of revive sickness you gain. PvP boons are relevant. So now for our gear. For our head slot, I recommend running with the Protege helm. Reason for this, extra 5% damage in Undermountain. Very helpful for the aggro. Then for our armor slot, I would take Barkhide for that extra damage resistance. Then for our arm slots, I would take the Mercenary of the Maze's Bracers. Reason for this is you take 3% less damage from ranged attacks. Most of Halaster's attacks are specified as ranged. However, I'm unsure if this has been fixed. With prior testing, it didn't work. But just have them for hopefully when they actually do get fixed. Then for our feat slot, I would take the boots that give you extra 10% movement speed when you're against a single target. Movement speed is definitely something you want to be getting as a tank, since we do need to move around quickly. We don't have like a dodge or sprint mechanic, so we have to rely on our feet. However, I do not have this. You could get it from the merchant within strongholds, the mysterious merchant. You have to summon it and get lucky that it comes there, and then you also have to have, I think it's 20,000 guild marks to actually purchase it. So I currently just have these random 1000 item level boots for the extra HP. So now for our weapon set, definitely want to be taking the Lionheart set. However, if you don't have the Lionheart set, I would go with the Burnished set, as it's the next best weapon set. So now for our rings, it doesn't matter too much other than that both your rings have defense slots. However, if you feel you need more offense stats for aggro, I would then consider taking a ring which has those offense stats that you need. For me, I managed to get this legendary ring from doing FBI, and conveniently it has accuracy, which I am lacking, defending Rings of the Keeper. Currently their bonus does not work, the 3% less damage from ranged attacks, since I last tested it. May have been updated, but I don't think so. Perhaps next mod. And then for your shirt and trousers, just take ones with high item level. However, for your trousers, you could switch out for the ebony stained ward trousers. Reason for this is that when your stamina is above 75%, you take 3% less damage. It's very nice for when you have your full shield and you're just about to get hit by Annihilate, and reduce it by 3%. However, I prefer to just have more HP, so I run with these nice high item level ones. The shirt, you could also switch that out for the ebony stained raid shirt. Okay, so now for our artifact set, I would take the reflective armament set. Reason for this is that whenever you cast daily, you create a rune on the ground, and this rune will decrease incoming damage by 5% to everybody within the rune. This is good for when the party is about to get hit by Superstorm. However, if you do not have this set, I wouldn't bother investing in it if you have an alternative high item level set. You definitely do want a set with the 980 item level. Reason for this is just the extra HP it gives. So now for the actual artifacts you want to run, you want, of course, your Erratic Driftcloud, complete the set. Alternatively, if you don't have the Erratic Driftcloud set and don't want to bother investing in it, I would just run with 4 books of the Tales of Old. Each book, an actual fact, gives you a bonus of 10,000 more HP. However, it does say it increases your maximum HP by up to 20,000 if you have 4 books, or 15,000 in my part for 3 books. However, that is actually doubled, giving me an extra 30,000, and then plus my 6,000 from my Erratic Driftcloud. However, if you do not have the Tales of Old books, I would go for just artifacts which give you HP. First up, you have the Erratic Driftcloud, 6,000 more HP. Then you have your Halaster's Blast Scepter. When that's fully upgraded, it gives you also 6,000 HP. And then you have all of your other minor artifacts which give you 4,000 HP. Okay, so for your primary artifact, I would recommend running with the Frozen Storyteller Journal. Reason for this, it buffs your allies' damage by 5% for 15 seconds when you cast it. However, if your party, and you do have alternative buffing and debuffing artifacts, may want you to run with something else. And if you do feel the need to level something up, definitely the Halaster's Blast Scepter is a good one to level up. And then alternatively you have Thirst. Both of those give you bonus to HP, so they're kind of the go-to ones to level up. Okay, so for enchantments, you want to be running Radiant Enchantments in all of your defense slots. For your offense slots, it doesn't matter too much. I would recommend running again Radiance in offense slots for that extra power, that extra damage. And then for your armor enchantment, I would run with Elven Battle for that extra stamina regen. I have tested out alternative ones, Bark Shield, Shadowclad. I just find the extra stamina regen helps me out a lot more than the others, because I can generally get my shield always maxed out again before I take the next Annihilate, and mainly just run my character with only taking damage from my shield and rarely from my HP. However, if you do not have a lot of HP, as you can see, I have nearly 900,000 HP. If you have only like 700,000, you might be better off taking a Bark Shield for that extra. You can take that extra hit then, because Bark Shield will block, I think, up to 100,000 more damage. It's multiplied by your damage resistance. So on the tooltip it says like 48,000, so it can block. If you have 50% damage resistance, it will block double that. Okay, it's then for your weapon enchantment. I would definitely recommend running with a Vorpal for the extra aggro. However, an alternative weapon enchantment to run would be the Bronzewood. It basically increases the damage taken for the target that you hit by 10%. However, this only procs when you damage the target with a heavy encounter. So for us, it's Smite. And when you're not the active tank, you won't be able to apply this mark, and thus they won't benefit from it. So I would recommend Vorpal still for that extra aggro. For our utility slots, I definitely recommend running with tactical enchantments. However, you may notice I have dark enchantments. The reason for this, each dark enchantment will give you a bonus of about 1,200 more HP at rank 15. However, dark enchantments are not recommended. I would definitely go with tacticals. I just have dark enchantments here because I have them, and I have all my tacticals in my healing build, and I prefer not to just switch them around. But if you do not have darks or tacticals already, I would definitely recommend purchasing tacticals. The extra incoming healing is majorly beneficial, especially when you're running with the Paladin healer. You will increase its shields upon you by 6% per tactical. So that gives you an additional 30% more shield from the Paladin, just from the tactical utility slots. So now for the actual consumables you want to be using, I would definitely use Caprice. As you can see there, it's giving me an extra 22,000 HP. Then I would run with either the Wildstorm Elixir for the crit severity if you feel you need to do more damage for aggro, or Foe Hammer's Favor Elixir. Adding this will 5% damage reduction if you calculate in deflect being 50% of the time. And then you would run with your Superior Flask of Potency for an extra 7.5% crit severity. There are other potions like this one, Grand Potion of Unbreaking, extra 3,000 HP. However, they do not work. It's rather disappointing, but that's the truth. And then for your overload slot, there was an event prior to Christmas where we had the Hell Pit event. And in this event, you were able to earn these tokens, and with them, you could purchase overloads. One of them was 5% extra maximum HP. However, if you calculate into the cost, that with 3 of these tokens, you could purchase an Insignia Choice Pack. And within that pack, you could claim a Dominance Insignia. Dominance Insignias were about 1.3 million. And thus that calculates this one overload to be worth nearly 450,000. It does have a 10-hour combat time on it, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily something you should invest in if you need the AD. So the way I would tank Halaster would be just to block everything with your shield. Using Shielding Strike to gain more stamina when he's charging up his Annihilate or he's taking a break to click his fingers. And just blocking as much as you can with your shield. And you can see my stamina regen. It's fairly rapid. And it's generally fast enough that when he's charging up his Annihilate, I can gain full stamina with my Binding Oath as well. Just doing my tab power and my shield to block all of that. So that's how I generally play it. I just block everything with my shield. When fully buffed up, I reach a total of 945,000 maximum HP. Keep in mind, you have to be in a party where everybody has VIP to get the extra 10,000. Along with my HP, I have a total of 112,000 power. I have my capped stats, apart from missing 10,000 accuracy. And to go with that, I have nearly 69% stamina regen. And this is a major part, since when I'm using my Divine Palisade, my tab power plus my shield, I have a total of 709,000 shield. And combine this with my stamina regen, I can regain insane amounts of HP in a short periods of time, and therefore you rarely even have to take any damage while tanking with this much HP. So I believe that's everything of my build. If let's say missed something, please comment in the comments below and I should reply fairly rapidly if you have any questions. And hopefully this was insightful and useful to you. So thank you all for watching and goodbye for now.